What is going on, guys? Boostcomp here, and today is the big day that we have all been waiting for. The Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer part of the game has been revealed. Now, a trailer and just a little 10-minute gameplay so you guys know what's kind of happening in real time as they play multiplayer. There's two links there in the description below, so check that out before you listen to this. Just pause the video now if you want to go check it out. If not, this is kind of just going to be a breakdown of the trailer for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer. Now, my thoughts is basically this game is very similar to, how about, let's say, a mix of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and like a Destiny or a Titanfall. It's kind of a mix between those three games. It's pretty interesting and it looks very good. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, I wasn't able to get the trailer itself onto the channel because of copyright issues, but I pulled a bunch of screenshots out of it to kind of break it down for you guys and kind of show you what's going on and tell about it. But I'm really excited for it. And the first thing we have here is not much at the very beginning. It's not the most exciting thing, but as we can see here, this doesn't really look like a laser sight to me. If it is, I'll be surprised, honestly, because that thing looks really powerful. That guy got killed, though. I just thought that looked interesting. Now, the second thing we have is pretty important. It's the grenades. Now, there's two grenades here at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You can see the first one on the left. It's like a red and black ball type thing, grenade. I don't know what you want to call it. And then the right side, it's like a spike ball. That's what I'm just going to call it today. I don't know the names of these grenades. They haven't been released, I don't think. But anyway, the thing that he's shooting out, and yes, I said shooting out, you don't throw the grenades in this game. You have cannons attached to both sides of your arms that throw either grenade on, or I mean, like, the tactical grenade is on the left arm, the lethal is on the right. But what this one does is it detects the enemies in a close range of where the grenade lands. And as you can see here on this screen, two enemies have been located. And it's kind of like the Oracle in the sense that you're able to see the enemies through the walls. And it's kind of like, what's that? On Black Ops 2, there was that one scope, the MMS scope or sight that gave you the ability to see enemies around walls, around corners. So this is pretty cool. It looks pretty powerful. Now, the lethal grenade, what I'm calling the spike ball today, it's used in this screen, and what he does, it's kind of like the throwing knife, and it killed the guy on one hit. It just shot out, stuck in him. He was just done. It was all over after that for him. He had no chance of surviving that. But it looks like it should be a one-shot kill like it is in the past, which is pretty sad because throwing knife should not be a one knife kill on a foot, but that's what it seems like it's going to be on this game. But anyway, moving on, the next screen we have here is in like a jungle environment, and this guy using the sniper just received a missile strike. Now, before he calls it in, he uses his exoskeleton ability, which I'm going to tell you right now is probably the most powerful thing I've ever seen. He uses a cloaking ability, so he makes him invisible to the enemies around the map. Now, God, this looks super powerful. I'm not really sure what to think about this. I'm not too excited that there is invisibility in the game, but obviously it should serve a good purpose for both teams. Anyway, after this, he calls in the missile strike, and it's very similar to a Hellstorm missile or a Predator missile from previous games. As you can see, he's able to control where the missiles will strike and kind of the locate. I guess, well, that's just whatever. Next screen here, you can see as they're hitting the ground, there's a ton of them. There's at least 6 or 7 missiles on the minimap that you can see, if not even more, I'm not sure. But that took out a wide range for a missile, and it looks pretty neat. Moving on, the next part of the trailer was in a different location. It was under a bridge. It looks like the Golden Gate Bridge in the trailer. I'm not so sure. I only got a glimpse of the bridge a couple times. But what's happening here is a tsunami is about to hit the land, as you can tell on this screen. And let me tell you, the visual effects are really nice. Now, in this screen right here, you can see the tsunami is hitting the rocks of the shore. And the crate on the right, the red crate, let me tell you, that was not there before the tsunami hit. The visual effects and, like I guess, yeah, they look really good in this game, and I hope it's kind of like the, what's it called? The environments that kind of change in Ghosts, but it's like 2.0 kind of. Like, the game-changing environments in Ghosts weren't really game-changing, and they weren't very spectacular, but these look pretty good. At least this tsunami looks very good. Now, after the tsunami hits, this guy pulls out a riot shield, which is kind of like an exoskeleton ability. Now, this screen is pretty important because, as you can see here, in the middle, it kind of shows like a battery life. Now, that battery life drains pretty quickly as the ability is being used. And at the bottom right hand corner where the grenades are, it shows two of these exoskeleton abilities. So it looks like you can transfer out grenades for these abilities. And as you can see on this screen here, you can have one on one side and then, like one grenade, one ability. And as you can see here, he has one ability and what looks to be a shock charge at least. It looks something similar to that. I mean, it looks very similar to that actually, but anyways, moving on. Here we have the same guy from the last screenshot, and he is receiving the orbital care package. Now, this orbital care package, I think I've talked about it before. I'm not so sure, but we weren't able to see what happened with it. I mean, it wasn't ever used in the trailer, at least not that I can remember. Or I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong because I didn't see it being used in the trailer. But what happens next is pretty neat. Now, it's kind of hard to explain using screenshots, but the guy in this image that's close up is an enemy, and the guy in the front is the guy that we were just with in the trailer. Now, what the guy in the front does here is he uses his exoskeleton ability to jump, or I guess, like double jump over this bridge back behind the enemy. As you can see here, the enemy is completely lost as this guy's returning to the ground level where he was a couple seconds ago, and then he just completely obliterates the guy. That guy had no clue what happened. You gotta feel bad for him. Rest in peace, he had no chance. But anyway, here he receives the XS1 Vulcan. Now, later in the trailer, we see what it does, and it is pretty cool. Now, anyway, next we go back to where the tsunami happened, and this all happens so fast in the trailer. It just kind of goes clip to clip in a couple seconds. And as you can see here, it's a terrible screenshot, but you are able to swim, and that's pretty interesting. Before, in other Call of Duties, you weren't able to. If you hit the water, you were done. I mean, that is if it was deep water. And this is on the edge of the map, as you could tell, if you think back to when he was on the rocky shore. But it is pretty cool. I'm glad that you can swim. And what he did was he popped out of the water and took out a guy on a rock afterwards. Now, moving on, what happened next? This next person, which this is in a completely different environment. It looks like it's in a city that not too long ago was abandoned, really. It looks like it's in still pretty good shape, other than the weapons and, explosives that have already hit. But, anyway, this is like a Dragonfire kill streak. It's like the airborne turrets that, kind of rain hell on them. But, it looks very similar to the Dragonfire, at least, of how he used it. It's like the quad rotor, whatever, like aircraft. But anyway, moving on. Next, we have a crossbow, which I'm pretty sure at least the battery life exoskeleton thing is there. So this might be an exoskeleton ability. I'm pretty sure it had an explosive tip or whatever because the enemy that was shot, eventually blew up a couple seconds later. So that's pretty interesting. Next, the next clip, it looks like we're using an AGR here as it was a ground moving turret type thing, and that's really what the AGR was in Black Ops 2. Now, I'm not sure if you're able to shoot off like missiles out of it or rockets, but as you can see here, he's using the turret and he gets a couple kills with it, so it's pretty cool. Now, this next screenshot here, I really have no clue what's happening. Now, what happened is this huge machine that's closest to the camera here was just taken, or I guess it just came out of the ground, really, or came out of like a spot where it just kind of sits, and it kind of just evolves into this cannon type thing, and it seems to be taking out an aircraft of some kind of hovering aircraft. It looks like that's what's happening. It's trying to take it down, but I'm not quite sure. There's so much going on in this image. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on, but that looks pretty intense, whatever is going on here. Now, moving on, the next thing we have is a just like mounted turret, kind of like a sentry gun in a sense, but it's two turrets. It looks a lot like the AGR turrets, but I mean, it's not mobile. And this looks like it's, this guy's going to take control of the map. You can see a large space, and it looks pretty neat. There seems to be, it looks like there's tons of ammo, at least, if that is the turret ammo on the bottom right-hand corner. Anyways, moving on. The next thing, as you can see on the left side of this, is back to the XS1 Vulcan. Now, this looks kind of like a lodestar. You're able to see the enemies and shoot them down, but it isn't quite exactly that. Now, on this next screen, I believe what is happening here, you see that big fire, rocket, whatever you want to call that. It's really weird looking, really cool. But it's burning this guy to death, and I think that's what's going on, what that the XS1 Vulcan is doing. I think it just kind of burns them to death, honestly. Kind of like a lodestar. Instead of missiles, you're using the fire. But that looks really powerful, and obviously it's a higher score streak, so you'll have to earn it to, receive it. But anyways, this is like post game. It looks like kind of like in a sense, like a battle pack. You unlocked a couple things, like he opened I forgot what they called it, but it's very similar to that of a battle pack in Battlefield. He got an assault rifle, some sort of equipment, and then a helmet, which is, the sentimental or I can't even say. Centennial helmet. I don't know. I can't speak today. Sorry, guys. But anyway, the gun, it looks like a pretty decent gun. It's an assault rifle, and there's a lot of stats for all the weapons in this game, as you can tell. And it looks like right below the weapon picture, there's a bunch of abilities that the gun has. But I'm not so sure on that. But anyway, moving on, the next thing it showed was that you're able to customize your own character. Yes, as you can see, you can customize so much, up to the gloves and knee guards and all kinds of cool stuff. And then at the bottom of that screen, you can see Exo. That might be the abilities or just an exoskeleton suit, but it is pretty cool. After this, it kind of showed a couple helmets, but I'm not going to go into that. There were about 6 or 7 helmets that were shown, and it didn't really show if some were better than others, but they seem pretty interesting. Now, at this next screen here, it's in a private match. There's a bunch of different people, but as you can see, every person has like a different, design to their character. It's going to be hard to duplicate your own character with someone else without even trying, because there's so much to pick from. As you can see, this one character has an assault rifle that seems to be pretty powerful, and an Atlas 45A2 pistol, and he's like a level 46, so he's probably played the game a bunch. He probably has good stuff. And this next character I'm showing here is probably the 4th character they used, I think that's right. And it's level 14, and it has a completely different armor look, a different set of armor, and this person's using a submachine gun instead of an assault rifle, so it is pretty neat. Now, finally, at the end of the trailer, they announced a Day 0 early access. Now, what you do here is kind of like a pre-order exclusive. What it is you're able to get the game a day early, and you're able to get 2 bonus weapon variants and double XP on the day before the game comes out. The game comes out to everyone on November 4th, but you will receive the game on November 3rd. So that is really cool. I'm glad they're doing it. That's the best pre-order bonus we've ever had, for sure, honestly. We haven't gotten something like this forever. But that's really it, you guys. This game looks a lot like Destiny, like I've said. I'm really excited for it. And I forgot to mention, Hardpoint will be returning. We already know that Capture the Flag is coming back, but in the 10-minute gameplay, like I've mentioned before, Hardpoint is coming back, and I'm so excited for that because that game was one of my favorites in Black Ops 2. But yeah, that's it, guys. Make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe, mention what you guys think they're missing out on or what you guys want in this game, and, what you're kind of disappointed for not seeing yet. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching, whether you're on Braindead Gaming or Boostcomp. Make sure you view other videos, as more Call of Duty Advanced Warfare news and gameplay will come soon. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.